Welcome back to Running Sports, everybody. Hope you have an amazing day. I'm here to give you guys my Monday Night Raw review for March 2nd, 2026. Before we get into the review, guys, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content headed your way. Share with your friends and family so we can help the channel continue to grow. Now, my overall thoughts on the show before we get into it is that I thought that the beginning was very well put together, and I thought the ending was put well together between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. If you guys know anything about Roman Reigns is going to main event the show. He's going to open the show. And tonight, because of Seth Rollins' return at the Elimination Chamber, he was not going to start the show off. They had to start the show off with the Vision angle and start the show off like that. Roman Reigns is going to get the end segment, and I kind of get it. I mean, we get it. He's the main event. The same thing with CM Punk. Main event WrestleMania, they're going to get the main event slot. Have no problem with that. Again, the show started off well, and it ended well. But in between the starting or the ending of it, this show was not good at all. And I'm going to break down why. And I know every single week I'm critical of the show because I want it to be booked properly. I want it to be booked right. And there were so many inaccuracies throughout this entire show, especially when it gets to a later segment between Dominic Mysterio and Penta. We're going to get there. But again, the reason why this show went from starting off hot to basically cratering, and then after the show cratered, it picked back up at the end. That's not good booking and good television. And that's not good storytelling. When the show hits at the high at the beginning, it falls flat for like almost 2 hours, and at the end of it, the last 25 minutes of the show, it picks back up. That's not good booking. Again, I don't really criticize the in-ring product on here. Some matches are boring, fine, I get it, and I'll say it when it is. But I criticize the booking and the writing of these shows because I want it to be great so everybody at home can enjoy it. Now, some people do and some people don't, and that's fine. Everybody has their own opinions. But my opinion on the show was, again, it started off well, and it ended well. The rest of it was not good at all. I will give you guys my little grade at the end. So we're going to start off tonight. And by the way, just real quick as an aside, shout out to Indianapolis, Indiana for an amazing crowd tonight. They were actually into the show the entire night. This crowd was better than the Chicago crowd last night. And that's saying something because usually Indiana is not a loud city like Chicago or New York or Miami or, just LA even maybe. But it was really good to see that the crowd was into the show, especially at the beginning. It was really solo, and at the end, they were really, really loud. They were loud throughout the entire night, so I'm going to give the crowd their credit because I ripped the Chicago crowd at the Elimination Chamber, so they really came in hot. This crowd really did. So shout out to Indianapolis, Indiana at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse for an amazing crowd tonight on Monday Night Raw. So tonight's matches and key moments that was scheduled for tonight was the WWE Intercontinental Championship was on the line tonight with Dominic Mysterio defending against Penta. We had the Ring General Gunther versus Dragon Lee. The OTC Roman Reigns obviously made his return tonight. WWE World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk will appear. Obviously that happened as well. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce will address Seth Rollins' interference. AJ Lee will celebrate her Women's IC Championship victory. And we'll hear from the Judgment Day Liv Morgan. So again, this show tonight was live from Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. The show opens up with a video package looking back at the highlights from this Saturday's WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Commentary then welcomes us to the show, and Michael Cole narrates various arrival shots of WWE World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk, new Women's IC Champion AJ Lee, some Judgment Day members Gunther. Cole also hypes Roman Reigns' appearance scheduled for later on tonight. Paul Heyman, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory then enter the ring with Paul Heyman. Paul introduces himself and the other guys. Paul then says they are here to talk about Seth freaking Rollins, and everybody starts chanting his song, starts humming his song, and just doing the whole roundabout of Seth Rollins' song. So Paul is interrupted by the sound of the humming. Paul then says he hates that freaking song and he hates Seth Rollins. Paul then says Seth stole the credit from co-founding this group from him. Paul then says Seth stole the credit for co-founding The Shield. Paul then says Seth stole the Elimination Chamber and stole the main event of WrestleMania from Logan Paul. Logan then snarls. I don't know what that meant. Paul then says Seth steals oxygen from every individual on this planet worthy of living, and Mr. Lynch is not one of them. Paul then says they will do something about that. Paul then says the next time he is in a WWE ring, he will stomp his ass out. Paul then says this is not a prediction or a spoiler. Paul then says it is a personal guarantee from the group. Austin Theory then says his theory is that he goes way back with Seth, but he isn't going forward. Austin then says for what Seth did to Logan. Logan then calls Seth a scumbag. Now I'm going to stop right here for a quick second. Austin Theory, this macho thing he's doing, I'll let it live for a second, even though I don't believe in it, but I'll let it live. I won't really criticize it because they're trying to give him a little bit of edge attitude, even though I can see right through it. I'll let him live on that. The problem was when Logan Paul grabbed the microphone, he said, Seth Rollins, "You're a scumbag." I'm like, man, what are we doing? Can we get a better word than that? A scumbag? Like, it just feels like child's play. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna really criticize the promo too much, but it sounded like child's play. "You're a scumbag." Like, I was like, oh man, what are we doing? Can we please get a better word? Man, just say, hey man, Seth Rollins, you a bitch for that. Say that. But why is it scumbag? I didn't really get that word, but it don't matter. I'm not gonna be hung up on the word, but they should just came with a little bit more fire with the word. And the way he grabbed the microphone, looking into the camera, I'm like, man, come on, man, you acting or are you being for real? I know you gotta suspend your disbelief, but man, damn, like, say something else better than that. So after he says he's a scumbag, he then says he eliminated 3 people in the chamber before you stole the victory from him. He then says the last person to do that is Brock Lesnar. He then says that is the company that he keeps. He then says the rest of this show is not happening until Adam Pearce comes out with security, and he says they get it. So basically, he says the show's not going to continue happening. Adam Pearce is interrupting on the microphone again, backstage, coming out with the security guards, basically saying he gets it. Pearce then suggests that they injure Jey Uso on Friday. Pearson says they are not going to hold this show hostage. Paul then says to Adam Pearce they had nothing to do with Jey, but they will plead guilty in advance for what they do to Seth Rollins. Paul then throws his mic, basically at Adam Pearce in the aisle. He threw that microphone very, very far, and Adam Pearce just kind of like watched it like drop by him. Pearson says he needs to have a conversation with Seth Rollins, but if you are here, he will do something crazy. A masked man then shows up, and he is chased through the crowd by security. So the first one, remember, they have so many masked men, and supposedly behind the scenes scoop is that it's really Seth Rollins' kids at his wrestling school. So shout out to them for doing a good job, or being all these masked men. Shout out to them because he handpicked these guys for a reason. I don't know about the guys tonight, but I know the previous guy was. So hopefully they continuously went down that well. I guess you would say that. So the first masked man got rid of the security guards that were behind Adam Pearce. So they jump over the barricade. The security's running after him. Adam Pearce is basically gone. Which I didn't even see Adam Pearce jump over the barricade. I think he just went to the back. I don't know. But they jumped over the barricade. So that was the first masked man, right? Chased out by security. Another masked man shows up and baits Logan Paul into chasing him. He jumps over the barricade, runs up the steps. The same thing happens with Logan Paul. So he runs up the steps. A third masked man jumps from the other side over the barricade. He runs over jumps over the other side. Austin Theory then chases him. Paul then looks around and he is alone. Paul then tries to leave the ring, but there's another masked man in the aisleway. This looked nothing like Seth Rollins. You can even tell by his eyes and his height that this was not Seth Rollins at all. Paul then stares at this man. Another masked man shows up behind him on an apron with the steel chair, basically climbing up really, really slow. So after that, the masked man gets inside the ring. WrestleMania 41, and the same way Roman Reigns hit Seth Rollins in the back at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. So you guys get it's a pattern here of Seth Rollins hitting people in the back like this. So Seth Rollins hits him with the chair. Seth then hits a blackout to Paul, basically a stomp to Paul Heyman. After that, Seth Rollins getting hyped in the ring. He's getting hyped. Seth then leaves to the crowd. The medical staff then slide into the ring to check on Paul Heyman. Paul is then helped out of the ring and is bleeding from the nose when we get backstage to the ambulance. After that, we then see that Paul is being helped in the back of the ambulance, and Logan and Theory return to the scene. Logan then says he wants to know what is going on. Logan then gets into the car. Logan then goes and he says, I'm going to go get the car. After he's going to get the car, Austin Theory basically closes the door, say, take care of him. He closes the door. He smacks the door in the back. They don't go. He thinks Logan Paul is pulling up in the car. He goes to the car. He's like, Logan. He opens, Jimmy Uso opens the door and punches him in the face. Nobody knows Jimmy Uso until we see him. He beats him up, so he slams it against the ambulance. Then after that, he continuously keeps punching him, and he throws him into I bet you could say a big-ass crate, those big crates that are backstage. They're not really crates, but they basically hold all the production stuff. He threw him over that. Basically a storage cage. He sends him in the storage cage, and then after that, Jimmy Uso walks up to the ambulance, and then the ambulance guy is basically not looking at him. He turns his head, and LA Knight says, that was a good job, and he drives away in an ambulance and driving all crazy with Paul Heyman in the back. So this opening segment was a good opening segment, even though there was too much with the masked man, and hopefully they get rid of it, because I think there was a video online circulating how many times they did the masked man gimmick, and it's been like 21 times that they've done that since like 2022. But this was good. And the reason why I thought it was really good is because they got outside of the ring. They went backstage. They did something with an ambulance. They had Jimmy Uso pull up in a car. They did something out of just being in the ring and being around backstage. They went into the parking lot. They did something a little bit more creative. That's why I'm like, man, this show is going to open up. It's going to be great. Because they actually did something that they haven't done in a long time. Use something. Use the ambulance. Use a car. Use everything else. So I'm like, okay, we're starting off hot. This is going to be a great Monday Night Raw. Jimmy Uso was pissed off because they feel like He attacked Jay. After that, LA Knight kidnaps Paul Heyman in an ambulance. I'm like, okay, this is going really, really well. So basically, after LA Knight drives away, Gunther makes his way out to the ring, and I'm like, okay, fine. Gunther is scheduled to face Dragon Lee. But Dragon Lee, when Gunther is coming out, Dragon Lee beats him up during his entrance. Now, here's the problem that I had. This was a good match for what it was, but here's why the match shouldn't have been this long. And people were praising the match online, saying this was a great match and stuff like that. I get it. Listen, Gunther can work, and Dragon Lee can work too. But here's the problem when you're booking this story between these two gentlemen. If you want Gunther to be a bigger personality, a monster who retired Bill Goldberg, who's one of the greatest superstars in WCW history, he retires John Cena, the greatest superstar in WWE history, then he retires AJ Styles, one of the best wrestlers in the business has ever had to offer, or the biggest star in TNA history. You retire all three of these guys, and you're going head-to-head with these guys. Then the mistake that WWE makes is that they put and this doesn't really matter, but follow me for a second. They put the WWE 2K26 player ratings on the screen. Gunther is a 93, and forgive me if I get this wrong, but Dragon Lee was a 76 or a 79. I can't remember which one exactly he was on the screen, right? So a 93, let's just put it in video game terms. Suspend your disbelief for a second. Just put it in video game terms. A 76 overall is not beating a 93 overall. A 76 is not better than 93. Now, he didn't beat him. Fine, I get it. He didn't beat him, but this match went way too long. It was a good wrestling match. Fine, I get it. Gunther's going to put on amazing wrestling matches, but you guys have to go into the mind of somebody who's looking at it from a writing standpoint like, man, if I'm writing Gunther's going to go out there now. The good thing they did was had Dragon Lee run at the beginning of his entrance and beat him up from behind. That was the good part because this guy's bigger than you, so you want to take him out now. As fast as you can. No more entrances. Go out there and hit him from behind and get him down. The problem is that after he does that, he wrestles a whole damn near half an hour match. No, and no. What they should have done is let him come out like they did, beat Gunther from behind, send him into the turnbuckle, beat him up, slam on the announce table, continuously beat him up. And once Gunther gets the advantage, the match is over because he's going to beat his ass. I don't understand why you're booking a wrestling match over a guy who's upset that you retired his former tag team partner. Fine, if you want me to care about it, I'll care about it. But I'm going to shred this shit apart. At the end of the day, Gunther, even though you can say, well, Dragon Lee, they're trying to build him up, I get it. But after this feud, where is Dragon Lee going to go? You have to make Gunther look supreme to Dragon Lee. That's what makes Gunther believable. That's what makes it even more intimidating. Like, man, you really went the course with AJ Styles. You went the course with John Cena. You went the course with Goldberg. And then you get with Dragon Lee and you having a hard time? Sure, in the beginning you can have a hard time. I have no problem with that. But having a long, drawn-out match, the match is great because you guys, okay, the in-ring product, okay, fine. You guys loved the match. It was a good match to me, too. Especially at the ending where Gunther basically pulls off his mask and he taps him out. And by the way, when he was tapping out, you could tell Gunther was covering his face. That was a nice job by him, but you could just tell that Gunther was deliberately covering his face so nobody would see it. What was the point of pulling the mask off if you're going to cover his face? He needs to cover his own face and tap out and hold his hands up. You got to hold your hands around his throat. He covers his face. You don't cover his face, Gunther. But anyway, so he basically won a match after tapping out Dragon Lee. But my overall problem was, again, I like when Dragon Lee attacked him at the beginning of his entrance. But we having this long-ass match, I want Gunther to look dominant. Who is he going to face at WrestleMania? If he's facing Brock, and would Brock Lesnar literally sit here and allow for Dragon Lee to beat him up like this? No. Because it's not believable in that sense. At least with Seth Rollins, he's a bit bigger. He's been a world champion. So you could believe it when he beat him up at WrestleMania. What was it, WrestleMania 35 in New York? The Universal title, Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. And Seth Rollins got the job done within 5 or 10 minutes of that match. It doesn't make Gunther look believable. Yes, it's a good match. He had a great match. It was a fantastic wrestling match. We get that he can wrestle. But what is the story behind Gunther? He retired 3 guys. 3 of them. And since he's retired all these guys, they've done nothing with his booking. He was in Elimination Chamber. He did not win the Royal Rumble. He retired AJ Styles, and he comes in at number 30 because they gave him a long layoff because he wrestled a full match. He gets into the ring, and then Roman Reigns eliminates him. And then after that, he's not part of the Elimination Chamber because he loses in the match, and Javon Evans qualifies. What has this company done with Gunther since then? Dragon Lee has been getting at him, and he's been beating him up. hanging him by the ropes, taking off his mask now. I want Gunther to look more stronger than he does. Book him better. Don't have Dragon Lee put him out in a wrestling match. No, okay, you gonna attack me from behind? Okay, now I'm gonna just beat your ass. Now I'm gonna slam you against the turnbuckle. Still steps. I'm gonna bloody your face. I'm gonna rip your mask off. I'm gonna rip it in half like Jericho did Rey Mysterio. And beat you to basically a bloody pulp. So when I take off your mask, everybody sees the blood running down his face. And that Gunther is no longer to be F with. If I'm the company, that's what I'm doing. That's the booking element of this. Dragon Lee gets his comeuppance before the match starts. After that, Gunther has to whoop his ass. And they made this a traditional wrestling match. What are we doing? I know people want to say, well, you're just nitpicking, but no, look at it from the writing standpoint. Everybody look at the in-ring. Yes, the in-ring was good, but the writing standpoint is, I want you to win. Not only I want you to win, I want you to dominate this guy. You're a 93 quote overall. You put the ratings up for a reason. I'm not even supposed to really look at that because it's a video game. But a 93 to a 76? Come on, y'all. Really think about it. Take away your, oh, we love Gunther or you love Dragon Lee. Look at it from the writing standpoint. And the booking of the show. Again, I had no problem with him tapping him out and beating him. But again, you gotta make him just beat the hell out of Dragon Lee and basically get him off of his back. So after the match, Gunther takes his time letting go of the hole after he took his mask off. So after that, we then head to the back, where we see Asuka screaming at Kairi next to her. Asuka then says Kairi should have been in the chamber. Kairi then cries and tells Asuka that Kairi said she did good last week. Asuka then yells at Kairi and pushes her. AJ Lee then shows up and asks Kairi if she's good. Basically, blink twice if you need help. Asuka then screams Kairi's name and Kairi leaves. Again, this frightened AJ Lee, but again, I don't really care about Kairi's name and Asuka anymore. What I told you guys what I would do at WrestleMania is put them in a fatal 4-way match for the women's WWE Tag Team Championships. It could be the Kabuki Warriors versus the Irresistible Forces, no pun intended, I guess, of Nia Jax and Last Legend versus the Bella Twins versus Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. You can do that fatal 4-way tag team title match for the women's tag team titles. That'll be a good WrestleMania match and a good WrestleMania feeling for all those women to be out there and actually wrestle. And you would have the Bella Twins win at WrestleMania to give them their final farewell run as a tag team. I think that'll do them a great service. So after that, we then see Austin Theory and Logan Paul. Logan says all of you saw a 60-year-old man get curb stomped and he wants to know what is wrong with you. He then says the fans have no respect for Paul Heyman. Logan then says they are the good guys, but they are the ones being screwed. He then says Seth Rollins, Adam Pearce, and Nick Aldis have screwed him over. He then says Austin Theory will beat Jimmy Uso tonight. Austin then says if you want to sneak up on him, they can meet in the ring. He then says tonight you are going to see it and you're going to feel it. Again, this must have been during a commercial break because Netflix probably in the commercial during this time that they said this. Now here's my problem again, and this is booking. Why would you have Jimmy Uso pull up in a car? He's the World Tag Team title, pulls up in a car, beats his ass, throws him against the ambulance, throws him into a storage crate thing or whatever the case may be, does that, LA Knight kidnaps Paul Heyman. And as soon as he does that, we're wrestling Jimmy Uso in a match with Austin Theory. Why put these guys in a match when they was fighting backstage and he got the best of them? So now we have to go back and have a wrestling match. What are we doing? Let me guys ask you a question. This is non-comparable, so I'm only using an example. It's a bad example, but just follow me for a second. After Stone Cold Steve Austin threw The Rock's title belt in the ocean, or when The Rock basically threw Stone Cold in that ocean or threw him in the water, did he get out the water and say, you know, we're going to fight now in the ring and wrestle in the ring? No! They wrestle later on, but not right then and there after the attack. If you attack somebody backstage and whoop their ass, and the degree that Jimmy Uso did, why are we wrestling a match after that? Have them face each other next week. Have them fight throughout the entire night when they see each other. Jimmy Uso's walking backstage. I know this sets up something for later on in the night, but you have to think around it. Think around that. And show that you can book better than what you're doing. I'm not wrestling a match against the guy who I just stormed into a crate because they put my brother in the back of the ambulance. They put my twin brother in the back of the ambulance, so now I'm going to whoop his ass, and I'm going to whoop his ass because I think you guys did it. And then after I whoop your asses, I'm not inclined, or I don't have the attitude to wrestle a wrestling match afterwards. No, we're not wrestling, we're going to fight. It's just as simple as that. Make them fight. And then you see after that, they fighting backstage, and Logan Paul and Austin Theory are now getting the best of Jimmy Uso. You could have Jey Uso pulling up in the car with his crutches and hitting both of the guys and whooping their ass, and they just fighting backstage till security come with no security. And then Austin Theory and Logan Paul just run away, jump in the car, and leave. Why didn't you do that? You have to think outside of the box. This is what I keep telling you guys. I criticize the show because you got to think outside of the box. I don't want to see a wrestling match after I just saw you get your ass kicked. The booking has to be better. That's all I'm asking. Was it booked right in the beginning? Yes, no problem. But then, when you get to the point, oh, now he's going to beat him up in a traditional wrestling match. No. Oh, you got the best of me earlier. Guess what? Later on, I'm going to walk around backstage, me and Logan, and we're going to follow you, then we're going to jump you. And then after that, if Jey Uso got something to do, he going to pull up in the car, and then we going to just fight until we get security, or we going to call the cops. Think outside of the box. This is minimal thinking after you did something that was at least good, or you involved the ambulance. People might think I'm nitpicking, but just think outside of the box. After that, AJ Lee then makes her way down to the ring. AJ starts off by saying she is not entirely sure how we got here. AJ then says she came back to snatch the hair from Becky's big head. AJ then says she ended up snatching her title. AJ then says she didn't know if she could still go. AJ then says the fans knew she could still go, and they had her back for a decade, which is very true. AJ then says you remembered her from when you would wish to forget. AJ then says you made her believe that she can fight with the best. AJ then says that is what Becky Lynch is. AJ then says she is the best of the best, but points out that she beat Becky Lynch. AJ then says Becky gave her the fight of her life, but she proved she can still be championship material. AJ then says she is exactly who she thinks she is. AJ then after that says that now that Becky is behind her, WrestleMania is ahead of her. AJ then says she is not waiting until then, which is a good thing. AJ then says she will be a fighting champion. AJ then says it has been 12 long years, since she held a title, and she is not going to take this for granted, and she is not going to waste any time. AJ then says a few weeks ago she mentioned some of the women she wants to get her hands on. AJ then says now that she has the title, she knows what they want to get a hold of her. That they want to get a hold of her now that she has a title. AJ then says, if you think you're championship material, and if you want to face your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, come after her. AJ then says, the next time she stands in the ring, she will be defending this title. AJ then tells everyone to show her what they got. Now, this is something that people wanted. If AJ Lee was going to win the title, we did not want her to be a part-timer. Be full-time with the championship, and I think the company probably realized, okay, we give you the championship, you got to be here and defend it before you get to WrestleMania and build yourself back up, which is a good thing. The promo was okay. I'm not going to really crush her for the promo. Fine. She's still working on getting on the promo, being in front of the crowd, or the case may be. I'm not going to do too much. But this is good for the crowd that said, okay, you can't be part-timing, and you come in here and want to be a part-timer, then you be a part-timing, then now you're in and out. If you're going to win the championship, you're going to be in. And I think she probably realizes that, so when they gave her the belt, now that she can actually do something. However, again, I don't want to see Becky Lynch nowhere near AJ Lee again. Now, if I'm the company, they have to do something with Becky Lynch. Have Becky Lynch go be the first ever to hold every single championship in the company, and have her go beat Julia for the United States Championship, because for some reason they're not doing anything with that title. They could have Becky Lynch go to SmackDown and say, you know what, I'm done with AJ Lee. I'm going to SmackDown. I want out of here. I want to get away from Adam Pearce. It's corruption over here. I want to go to SmackDown. Have her beat Julia with the United States Championship, and have her and Charlotte Flair. Have her and Charlotte Flair face off for the United States title. AJ Lee's a big enough star and a draw who has her own fans that if AJ Lee can get Bayley, which I want Bayley and AJ Lee at WrestleMania. Your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. AJ Lee and Bayley at WrestleMania. Two babyfaces fun. If you want to turn Bayley heel, you can do that. Maybe Bayley wins the number one contender match. Then she's feeling like, oh man, you know what? I can't beat you. I can't beat you. Then she turns heel and she starts going crazy. You remember, guys, that storyline when she was going crazy? Or she was switching back and forth to personalities? Get back to that. Get back to booking and storytelling with Bayley. And then you can set up with a match with AJ Lee and Bayley for the IC title at WrestleMania and give Bayley another WrestleMania moment that she did not get to have last year. You can move Becky Lynch over to SmackDown and have her face off for the U.S. title. It's a perfect setup. Nobody wants to see Jessica Carr versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. I don't want to see that. And stop telling people that we need to see this. Oh, it leads up to a program. So, man, what has Jessica Carr done? Please tell me in the comment section down below, what has Jessica Carr done to deserve a match at WrestleMania against Becky Lynch? What, because she's a referee, she keeps screwing her? Are you out of your mind? What kind of booking is that? Yeah, a referee that keeps screwing me, or in my own mind keeps screwing me. And you want me to fight a referee at WrestleMania who has no push? Yes, she can wrestle fine. She can get in the ring fine, whatever. She's a former wrestler. But what does that do for the other women who've been busting their ass all year? I beg your finest pardon. I do not want to see Becky Lynch versus no Jessica Carr at no damn WrestleMania. I'd rather they run back AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania if that's the case. No. I don't give a damn about no referee just jumping in. No, you don't get to do that. Absolutely not. No way, Jose. Come on, y'all. It's better booking than that. I'd rather send her to SmackDown and have her face Bliss at WrestleMania for the Women's United States Championship. Have Julia drop the title if you're not going to do anything. Make the Women's United States Championship feel more important. Give the title to Becky Lynch. Have her face Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania for it. You really lift it. You elevate the championship. It's all about elevating this championship that you have been wasted and been non-dormant with. What are we doing? Think outside of the box. It's so simple when you put it together. All you guys got to do is write the story. So after that, we then see Penta walking in backstage area. He's greeted by the original El Grande Americano, who is Chad Gable. By the way, Chad Gable has been gone. Alpha Academy or American Made, whichever one that he was with both of them. But the Creed brothers and all that, why? If Chad Gable is back, why isn't he back with his original group? If he's truly back. Because the last time we saw him, he was with the original group. Why is he not with his group anymore? So you just completely forgot about the Creed. You just completely said, you know what? We're going to put you under a mask. This is damn near equivalent to Shorty G. You guys remember when Vince McMahon called him Shorty G? This is embarrassing. What are we doing? Okay, let me just say this. Besides AAA fans, nobody gives a damn about El Grande Americanos. I'm sorry. We don't. The crowd was giving them enough energy tonight, but nobody cares about this group. This is Vince McMahon level of booking creative. And I know if for some reason at WrestleMania, they're probably going to put Chad Gable versus Louis Kaiser in a mask versus mask match because they think this draws money. It does not draw any goddamn money. This is stupid, and we're wasting time with other talented people who can barely get on the shows every single week. May I ask you guys a quick question and put in the comments down below. Where are the Street Profits working NXT live events this past month? They could be on Raw. The Motor City Machine Guns on SmackDown, they could be on Raw. Even on New Day Estelle, they could be on. What about the War Raiders ever since Obafemi took them out? Where are they? Where's the tag team division on Raw? You know what I think we're going to get at WrestleMania? The Usos versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory, because they have nothing else. Because they booked this tag team division very, very poorly. But we'll get to that later. But this right here is nonsense. Get rid of this El Grande Americano bullcrap. Chad Gable is better than this. What are we doing? Oh, well, Brandon, you complaining he has a character on TV. At least he's on TV. Chad Gable is good enough to be on TV on his own, without a dumbass mask. And the same thing with Louis Kaiser, and the same thing with the New Catch Republic that's under these damn masks. Who is writing this? If it's Ryan Ward, if Triple H is approving this, if it's Road Dogg, I don't give a damn who it is. Stop. You have Danhausen, you have R-Truth, you want comedic stuff, fine. But leave this on AAA. Get this off of my television screen. I don't want to see this. Just as bad creative. So, I'm sorry, got off track. Penta is walking backstage. He sees the original Grande Americano. He says he's excited for his match and wishes him luck. Original Americano then says he will be in line when Penta wins. Los Americanos then show up to ask the original Americano how long he wants to run this charade. Grande then says they will prove it on March 14th at Rey de Reyes. Original Americano says he will face Uno of the secondary Americanos tonight. Lord have mercy. Or Rayo, whatever, whoever the hell it is. I don't care. This match was stupid. We then get a backstage promo with Liv Morgan. She then cuts a promo and says hello to Stephanie Valkyrie. Liv then says she might have some questions about last week, so she will explain herself. People have questions last week, so she'll explain herself. Liv then says you tried to embarrass her and belittle her. Liv then says you don't know her struggles, and she got to where she is. Liv then says she is privileged. Liv then says she got sidelined at 20 while you were rejected at your first tryout. Liv then says she had the best of the best. Liv then says she is a star and she does not dwell on her past like Stephanie dwells on her past. Liv then says she sees a bit of herself in Stephanie. Liv then says you are a great champion. Liv then says she is going to give Stephanie the privilege of her life. Liv then says you are going to step into the ring with the greatest Royal Rumble winner. You get to step in the ring with the Liv Morgan. Now my criticism of this promo is Stephanie Valkyrie is better than Liv Morgan in every way. As a wrestler, now not as a promo obviously, but she's better than her as a champion as well. And I want to say something too. She said, I got signed I got signed when I was 20 years old and you got rejected on your first tryout. All of that time that went past when Liv Morgan was signed at 20 years old. She was a part of the Riot Squad and they did absolutely nothing. There was no purpose for them until Liv Morgan beat Ronda Rousey and became champion. After that, they went back into obscurity. You guys remember when she basically was making out with Lana, or she's supposed to be her wife, or whatever the case may be, that stupid, horrible angle. I know it's Vince McMahon level of booking, but technically, Liv Morgan didn't really have her breakout until 2023 at least, or going into 2024. You could say Stephanie Valkyrie, she finally got her big break. Yeah, fine, she came to WWE, but she was a huge star on the independents. I mean, this was a good... I'm just criticizing the actual points that were made. But it was a good promo by Liv Morgan. She looks serious. Her eyes look vicious in the promo. She looks like she means business. I have no problem with the promo. Just I'm nitpicking what's in the promo. Mainly, that is my objective. But again, she says I'm a star and she's letting her know who she is. And if I'm the company, I'm not having Liv Morgan win this title at WrestleMania. I'm not going through this again. She wins the title and she's a part of Judgment Day and they keep going on through this charade, blah, blah. I'm not doing this again. If she wins the Women's World title at WrestleMania, get her away from the Judgment Day, or she can still be a part of it, but they gotta move on for certain things that's in the element of the Judgment Day. But I don't want her to win the title and then be on Raw, then they backstage and they barely defending the championships and going through this whole circle of motion all over again. I don't want to see it again. Make sure that she wins the title and does something productive if she's going to take title for Stephanie Valkyrie. And by the way, speaking of Stephanie Valkyrie, where was she? Great question. Anyway, the original Grande Americano makes his way down to the ring for the match. I'm skipping over this. This was a decent match. The original Grande Americano beat Rayo, or whatever his name is. I don't really care about this. Or Bravo. He beat Bravo, right? Then hits Original Americano. Bravo's then knocked off the apron. Rayo clouds on him. Original Americano then hits the Chaos Theory for the win. I don't care who was in this match. This match sucked. It sucked. Nobody cares about it. It is what it is. And I didn't really give a rat's ass about it because this company continuously keeps booking this foolishness. And this is what you're going to get. A pissed off Brandon Sports View covering this episode of Monday Night Raw. That was terrible. And nobody cares about the Grande Americanos. After that, we then see Penta. He tells Dominic Mysterio he's going to... After that, we then see Penta. He tells Dominic Mysterio he is coming with the hearts of his people. He then says nothing and no one will save you because it will be the only them in the ring. He then says he will make history when he becomes the Intercontinental Champion. We then see Jackie Redmond in the interview area with Natty. Jackie mentions how she has treated Maxine and asks about her new attitude. Natty then stares at Jackie and she says, look at the camera. And she says she wants to apologize to Maxine. Natty then says she is sorry that she allowed Maxine to train in a dungeon. Ooh, personal shot. Natty then says she is sorry that she made Maxine feel like she was good at this. Natty then says she will tell Maxine the truth. Natty then says she is a killer and they try to convince everyone that she is a bimbo. That was a nice touch. Natty then says you are a bimbo. That was a nice touch as well. Natty then tells Maxine to live in an empty, shallow life because hearts don't lie and the truth hurts. Natty then says you don't belong in her world and you never will. This is a great promo by Natty. I just wish it was on television because I didn't get to see this, unless I'm mistaken. Again, but nobody's going to care after that segment when she basically knocked out Maxine Dupree and nothing came of that. That was really terrible last week, but again, I don't think they're going to care about it. Natalya needs to do more if they want this character to continuously go over. Just have her beat up random people backstage, or the case may be, or somebody who may be a babyface that she could just target and beat up. Because Maxine Dupree is not it. Give her a babyface that she can target that can actually go in the ring. No disrespect to Maxine Dupree, but she is not a great worker. She's getting better, but she's not a great worker. So in this case, it's just going to fall flat. Because nobody wants to see a preppy white meat babyface going up against Natty. Nobody wants to see that, and I completely understand it. So next up, we then see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez playing darts in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Liv then suggests that Raquel challenge AJ Lee. Dominic then tells JD that he hopes they will be there outside of basically helping him his match tonight. Finn then shows up and says he wasn't happy with the result, but at peace with what happened. Dominic then says now we can focus on the match and get over his thing with CM Punk on the world title, and JD kind of gives him a little nudge because that was kind of insensitive if you look at it from that standpoint. So he says you want to focus on the match and that they will be there. Finlay says Dominic has to do it by himself. Dominic says that they'll be out there to basically celebrate together. That's what he meant. We then take a look back at the Miz and Obafemi on SmackDown, which I don't know why we did that replay of Obafemi and the Miz on SmackDown because it was absolutely terrible. We then get Rusev comes out. He jumps on the announce table. He makes his way out. He says enough is enough. He jumps on the announce table. It says he's tired of hearing about Obafemi. Rusev then says he is tired of waiting. Rusev then says he knows that Obafemi is back there. Rusev says, you want this fight? He wants this fight. Rusev then says, how about we fight right now? Rusev then says the line of Bulgaria calls out the Nigerian ruler. Rusev then says he is not moving from the table until you come out. Obafemi then struts his way down to the ring, but he is not dressed to wrestle. If that's the first thing I noticed, you wasn't really ready to wrestle. He wanted to fight, which he did come out to fight, so he had jeans on, so I did get it. I was like, why he ain't got no gear on if it's going to be a match? But what happened? They didn't make it a match. Why? Because I challenged you to a fight. So now we're going to come out here and fight in a ring. It should have went out into the area, crowd area, but fine. All right, whatever. But they had him fight against Rusev. Now, this is a better opponent because he's just as big as Obafemi, not tall-wise, but in stature and muscle, he can equal up to him. So even though they haven't done anything with Rusev lately, this would be a nice opponent for Obafemi to get through instead of The Miz and Kit Wilson. So Obafemi takes the microphone. He tells Rusev he spent all this time talking, so come into the ring and make things happen. Rusev then leaps off the announce desk. He gets onto the apron and walks into the ring. He then punches Obafemi. They basically punch each other in the face back and forth. Oba then takes the advantage and hits an uppercut in the corner. Rusev then escapes a chokeslam. Rusev hits a few roundhouse kicks to the face, which he got his leg up there and basically kicked him. But Oba catches Rusev and hits a chokeslam. Oba then clothesline Rusev over the top rope and to the floor. The music then hits and this signals that this is over for now. So basically, he hit him over the top rope. It basically taunted him, and Rusev got mad and got angry, whatever the case may be, and that was pretty much it. So he's getting mad over this whole Obafemi thing. And the crazy thing is that Damian Priest was getting kind of mad at it too when he was backstage with R-Truth 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, when he basically had a fed up look on his face. So maybe people are fed up that Obafemi is on the main roster. It is what it is. I don't know. But I still don't know what they're doing with Obafemi at WrestleMania. Do I want to see Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi at WrestleMania? No, not really. Suplex. Obafemi chokeslam in here, big boot. I don't know. I mean, will it be good? Probably. I think Brock Lesnar could do a good enough job, but do I want to see it? Is the question, and the answer right now is just no, because look what they've been doing with Obafemi for the past couple of weeks. Rusev is a better opponent than The Miz, Kit Wilson. It's a better opponent, but I mean, just we'll see how it plays out. But I'm not really too keen on it right now, just the way that they're pushing him. Although I think Rusev will be a good stepping stone to show him against bigger and more physical guys. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to judge it too harshly, but we'll see where it goes. We then see Bayley telling Lara Valkyria that she feels stuck and she asks for ideas. Lara then says she can't sit back and watch her miss another WrestleMania. Lara then tells Bayley that AJ is looking for a challenger, so why not her? Bayley's face lights up. Lara then asks, why can't it be Bayley? And that is her ticket to WrestleMania. Bayley then says she remembers costing Lara a title match, so maybe they should both go. Lara then asks if Bayley means it. Io Sky, after that, they went to the office. Io Sky walked out of the office, Adam Pearce's office, and she walks away. Bayley and Lara then enter Pearce's office. Jimmy Uso then makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night versus The Vision, Austin Theory. Jimmy basically hits a super kick on Austin Theory on the outside. He just announced table. Jimmy hits another super kick. Austin Theory is laid out on the announce table. Then Logan Paul jumps into the ring. Jimmy Uso jumps on Logan Paul. After he's taking him down, Austin Theory runs back into the ring. Jimmy Uso takes him down, and then Logan Paul starts jumping him with Austin Theory. After they jumped him, the referee calls for the bell. The winner of the singles match disqualification is Jimmy Uso. And the reason why they did this, why? Because they didn't want Austin Theory to take a pin, and I don't think they wanted Jimmy Uso to take another pin, especially being tag team champions. After the match, after they're jumping him, Jay Uso's music hits, and he's on crutches. Jay then gives one to Jimmy, and Jay hits Logan with one, and then they send Logan to the floor over the top rope, and they hit a 1D on Theory. I think that's what they're heading to, like I said earlier, for the World Tag Team titles. I think that this is going to be the match at WrestleMania because they have nothing else to do with Austin Theory and Logan Paul. I don't think Seth Rollins is going to face Logan Paul at WrestleMania, and I don't think he's going to face Austin Theory at WrestleMania. I don't want to see, if you had to ask me right now, do I want to see Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins? The answer is no. Do I want to see Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania? No, we saw that at WrestleMania 39. I don't want to see that again. So they're probably going to put the World Tag Team titles on the line, and this is going to be the match at WrestleMania for the World Tag Team titles. And if I'm the company, the Usos retain at WrestleMania. We then see Adam Pearce on the phone But my quick thoughts about that, just to go back with that Jimmy and Jay segment, this is why I'm not I told you guys earlier, I'm not having a match between Jimmy Uso and Austin Theory. You're going to fight backstage. Jay Uso's going to pull up in the car with those crutches. He's going to start hitting them and start beating them up with both crutches. Both of them going to start jumping them, and they're going to run to their car, run away, and jump in and just basically get the hell out of there. That's what they should have done, but instead you put a traditional match on, then you hit Jay Uso's music, and then he comes out fired up with his crutches. I get it, but make it different. We don't need a wrestling match between these guys after you got out of the car and punched me in the face. We're not wrestling after that. We're going to fight the same way Rusev, even though it was inside of a ring, Rusev and Obafemi fought. Because I'm challenging you to a fight. It's as simple as that. So after that, we then see Adam Pearce is on the phone. He says he's supposed to be here. Pearce then gets off the phone and turns and sees Danhausen. Danhausen says he has a list of demands. Danhausen just says he wants a blimp, a Hall of Fame induction. He says he wants his face on a truck. And he wants that little picture that Triple H does with everybody when he points at everybody. And the paper was wet. Adam Pearce says, why is this wet? He said, because it fell in the toilets. After that, he drops the paper on the floor. Pearce then stops Dominic, Finn, and JD to introduce them to Danhausen. Danhausen then says he likes Dominic Mysterio's title. He basically tries to touch it. Dominic then tells Danhausen to leave before something bad happens. Danhausen then says Dominic is cursed, and after that, he disappeared. Now, if you guys don't know about Danhausen, he's cursed, and once something he says you're cursed, bad things happen to you. Again, am I fond of Danhausen? No. Am I going to give him a chance? Yes. Do I think he should have been revealed in this box? Absolutely not. Do I think they should have revealed it at the time that they did? No. But looking back on it, they saying that the backstage reports was him getting booed will eventually help out his character. Fine, I get it. I'll give him a chance. I'm not down on him personally, by the way. I have no problem with Danhausen. Do I really like the stuff that he does? No, because I've seen some of the stuff in AEW, but not really that much of it because he was basically off television for damn near a year in AEW. And at the time, I would see the stuff online, but I'll give him a chance. I'm not going to really criticize him. Let's give him a chance. Stop dunking on the dude. It wasn't his fault that the company hyped up this damn box and did this. It wasn't his fault. Again, he's still got to make a living, so I ain't really criticize him that much. But the problem I had with this was, as soon as he said, you're cursed, I said, please, God, please do not have this guy say you're cursed and Pinson wins the IC title. Please do not do it. Don't do it. Don't have Dominic Mysterio lose his IC title because Danhausen cursed him. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. We'll see what happens later on. Byron Saxton is now in the interview area with Javon Evans. Byron asks Javon Evans about competing in the Elimination Chamber. Evans says he is a fan of the match, and since he's been a part of it, he is thinking about the toll that it took on him. Evans then says he was in the ring with some big dogs. Evans then says he wants to be a champion. He will be watching tonight's title match. Evans then says he might have next. Again, I don't really have a problem with Javon Evans. I think he's going to be a superstar. He needs to slow down a little bit. He's a little bit overexcited, but I get it. It's the passion that's running through him. He just got to slow down a little bit. I don't want him to get hurt or actually hurt himself. But again, I like Javon Evans. I think him and Trick Williams are going to be superstars. The same thing with Carmelo Hayes. They need to do a better job with Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown and get him away from Ian Dragunov. So after that, we then see Jackie Redmond. She brings out Rhea Ripley. Rhea is joined by Io Sky. Jackie congratulates Rhea Ripley on her victory, having to face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the WWE Women's Championship. Rhea then says it has been a whirlwind of emotions the last couple of days. Rhea then says she lost the tag team titles. She looks so disappointed on Friday, and it really sucks. Rhea then says Io has been so many things to her. This is where she starts grabbing her face. I'm like, yo, no disrespect to both of them, but I'm like, yo, you're grabbing her face as if she's your wife or something, and you're getting ready to kiss her. Like, what are we doing? Like, this just, their relationship on screen seems a little bit too touchy. Like, what the hell? Like, I get it, like, y'all friends, but damn, if you're not gonna go down that route, then I don't know why they are touchy like this, and she's grabbing her face as if she's her long lost lover. I don't know. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that, because I respect both of these women, all-time greats when their careers are over. But this touchy, happy-go-lucky thing, I was like, man, what are they doing? But anyway, so after that, Rhea then says she also has been her best friend. They hug. Rhea then thanks Io supporting her for pulling her out of a very dark situation. Io then tells Rhea she did the same for her. Io then says you won the chamber and show why mommy is always on top. Io then says she will be alright on Raw. Io then tells Rhea to handle her business and win the title at WrestleMania. Rhea then says she will do it, and she will do it for Io. Rhea then tells Io to hold down Raw because on Friday she will be seeing Jade Cargill face to face. Rhea then says at WrestleMania she'll be leaving your new women's champion. I had no problem with the promo, but the whole touchy-feely thing, I'm like, what are y'all doing? And why is Io out there? I get it, why she's out there to help her friend. And here's my thing too. If I'm the company, why not put Io Sky on SmackDown and have her face Julia for the Women's United States Championship? Why not do a trade? Like, I don't understand this. I don't understand what they're going to do with Julia in the United States Championship. People saying the title shouldn't be around at WrestleMania. I beg to disagree. You have the titles, use them. If not, then get rid of it. I don't want to see Julia face anybody else except for Io Sky at WrestleMania. What's the point? Why'd they switch the match on SmackDown a couple weeks ago? I don't get it, man. I just don't get what they're doing with the Women's United States Championship. And you're going to say, well, Brandon, why do you care so much? Because you introduced a title. You said, well, the women's division needed a mid-card championship, so you introduced 2 titles. I told you guys long ago, they should have never have done that. Do you know what they should have done? If you're new here, they should have brought a new championship to the company. And you know what they should have called it? It should have had a white stripe on it. And they should have said, this is the new Women's European Championship. Be different from the men. And let the women have their own championship and have it be called the Women's European Championship and have it defended across both brands. If I'm this company, I'm thinking about combining these titles together. Both lineages will still be intact, and you just say it will be combined together and you rename it the Women's European Championship. There's no point of having 2 belts if you're not going to do anything with the Women's United States Championship. Get rid of it or do something with it. Come on now, stop being lazy with the booking. I didn't really, like I said, it was a good promo, but I just don't care for Io Sky and Rhea Ripley to be together anymore. I'm glad that they're going to separate them and split them up. It is announced next week on Raw that there will be a number 1 contenders gauntlet match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and Obafemi will face Rusev. Penta then makes his way down to the ring for the match of the next match of the night against Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, we get to the end of this match. Penta then kicks Dominic in the corner and the referee warns Penta. Penta then hits a chop and Irish Whip. Penta then hits a shoulder in the corner. Dominic then moves when Penta goes for a shoulder in the corner and Penta hits the ring post. Dominic then tells JD to go get a hammer, and he does it. Finn then stops JD and tells JD that Dominic wants to do it by himself. They're arguing back and forth. Let him do it by himself. And he needs to do it by himself. Penta then hits a flip dive onto Finn and JD. Penta then hits a kick from the apron and goes for a destroyer, but Dominic hits a drop toe hold to send Penta into the ropes. Penta then avoids 619 and hits a destroyer for the win. The new WWE Intercontinental Champion is Penta. After the match, Penta raises the title and celebrates as pyro goes off for him. I just want to stop and say this for this segment. Listen, man, congratulations to Penta for winning the Intercontinental Championship. If I had the pin backstage, he's not winning this match. What for? What was the point of... See, this is why... This company had it in the bag. People are going to say, well, Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor didn't need the IC title. Yes, it does. And here's why. Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio should have retained the title tonight, right? He retains the title. But he wins on his own, but he feels slighted that Finn Balor didn't let him get the hammer. And I knew that damn Danhausen saying your curse would lead to him losing the title. Which I said earlier, I did not want that. As soon as he said curse, I was like, man, please don't have him. God, no, please don't have him lose the title. So what happens now? He loses the title, which he shouldn't have. What they should have done is had Dominic Mysterio keep the championship. They should never had him curse him. They should curse somebody else. But the reason why I'm thinking like this, and follow me for a second, guys. You have Dominic retain. The reason why you have him retain the championship is so that when Dominic Mysterio's in tempers flare and they continues to keep going weeks and weeks teasing the breakup, they kick Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day. But Finn Balor is coming after Dominic Mysterio, and because you kicked him out the Judgment Day, now I'm coming for your Intercontinental Championship, and now it's personal. And then every single week, Dominic Mysterio, JD, I don't know if you add another member to the Judgment Day, you have them jump Finn Balor, and up until WrestleMania, you do something creative where you can bring the Demon back. There was no point of taking the IC title off of Dominic Mysterio. He should have kept the title until WrestleMania. That makes no sense for them. It goes with the story. You kick me out the group, now I'm going to come and take your championship. Now what is the story about? Oh, you just kicked me out the group? Oh, ho, ho, ho. No. You kicked me out the group. Guess what? Now I'm coming for your championship. And when I come for your championship, now you're going to have nothing. And now the Judgment Day won't have nothing because you won't have the champion in your group anymore. You see how simple that is? Now you put the title on Penta. What Penta going to do with it? And why is he not with his brother? So Penta just getting all this love and Rey Fenix gets nothing. What was the point of bringing these guys into the company? What was the point? Listen, I respect Penta. I'm glad he's in the WWE. I got no problem with it. The problem I have is that now what are you going to do with Penta and book him with the IC title? I bet you if Dominic Mysterio doesn't get the IC title back, you know what they're going to do? They're going to do a stupid-ass multi-man match, maybe even a ladder match at WrestleMania because Penta's a high flyer. You're probably going to put Dragon Lee in a match. You'll probably put Rey Mysterio in a match. You'll probably even put Rey Fenix. I don't know because he's on SmackDown, but you're probably not going to do nothing because you probably don't want them brothers even going at it. I don't understand why you would put the title on someone who did not need it. You know what was needed? For him and his brother to reunite on SmackDown and for them to win the tag team titles and carry that division on SmackDown while the Usos are on Raw. It makes the perfect sense. This company just doesn't know how to book, and this is why I said this show was not good. Because you book something and you do something in the spur of the moment. If you don't give Dominic Mysterio back the title, then what happens next? It's going to be a stupid-ass multi-man match because you guys just don't know how to book anything. It was right there in your hands to have Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor for the IC title at WrestleMania, with Finn Balor bringing back the Demon and turning babyface, and after he turns babyface, he goes on a great run with the IC title. This makes no sense. It makes no sense. I don't give a damn, oh, well, if they didn't want the title on Dominic. No, he had the title for months. What was the point? They should have just stripped him. If this is what it was going to come to, you should have stripped him. Wasted all these months waiting for him to come back with the IC title just for you to give it away. Because Danhausen cursed the dude. Come on, man. That's bad storying and bad booking and bad creative all in all. Especially if you know what to do with the title right now, keep it on Dominic Mysterio. No disrespect to Danhausen, but I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see Lala Carey and Bayley still hanging out together. I don't want to see that either. I don't want to see the Vision and Austin Theory, Logan Paul versus the Usos, but we're probably going to get that. I don't want to see that neither, but it is what it is. You need a tag title match at WrestleMania? Fine, do it. The stupid Grande Americanos on Raw tonight. Nobody went to see that. Dragon Lee versus Gunther was a good match, but that booking was absolutely terrible going back to, again, the beginning of the show was good, and then we fast forward all the way to the end of the show after that segment. The Danhausen segment, okay, fine. Rhea Ripley's segment was very, very cringeworthy. Penta celebrates, fine. After that, we get a take a look back at Nick Aldis on Elimination Chamber post show. He declared that Drew McIntyre faced Cody Rhodes for WWE Championship because of the interference that Drew McIntyre continuously kept doing and beating up on Cody Rhodes. So that's why they had that match after Elimination Chamber went off the air. Again, if you want to see my Elimination Chamber review, I gave it a D+. You guys can go check that out. So after that is basically broadcasted, Roman Reigns' music then hits. Roman Reigns makes his way out to the ring. Roman then enters the ring and he plays to the crowd. Roman then asks the crowd in Indianapolis, Indiana to acknowledge him. CM Punk's music hits and he makes his way down to the ring. Punk then enters the ring and he plays to the crowd. Punk then grabs the mic. Punk then asks Roman, why is he so mad? Punk then says he isn't interrupting. He's feeding your ego. Punk then says he is acknowledging Roman. Punk then says he hopes Roman isn't just doing that and wasting a date because it could be a tweet. Basically wasting a date on his schedule and paying him all this money. You could just tweet, and Roman Reigns starts to chuckle a little bit. Roman then asks if the tweet angered Phil. He then says Punk appears to have thin skin. Punk then says he does not hold grudges against people for what they say about him on podcasts. Basically going back to 2014 when he was on Coco Bennett's podcast talking about Roman Reigns and how the company wanted him to look good. Or make Roman look good at least. Punk then says he has bags on his eyes and he has to carry Roman for the next 7 weeks with his bullshit. Punk then says this is the first stop on the road to WrestleMania and they have history. Punk then says this is where the Shield debuted and you brought him to the dance. Roman then says Punk brought the other two, not him. Nice callback. Punk then says we remember things differently. Punk then says he might not have picked Roman back then, but you picked him to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Punk then says he's already won. Punk then says the last time they were face to face in the ring, you said you hated him. Punk then says he has Roman where he wants him. Punk then says you hate him. Punk then says he is in Roman's head. No matter how empty it is, Punk then says he is under Roman's skin is that it is translucent. Punk then says he can see right through him. Roman Reigns goes back and then says he hates Punk. Roman then tells Punk that is what he is missing. He then says if he didn't have the title, he would be indifferent to him. Roman then says you wouldn't be on his radar. Roman then says they brought you back to entertain the 30 to 40-year-old virgins who live with their parents. Roman then says they brought you back for merchandise and to get a big gate in Chicago, or tried to get a big gate in Chicago. Roman then says they didn't bring you back to be champion. Roman says that it is above your pay grade to be champion. Roman then says you can't trust Punk because he is a liar. Roman then says you have them thinking you are having a good time and that you're a locker room leader. Roman then says you can lie in your interviews. Roman then says every time you get to bitching and moaning back there, it gets back to him. Roman then says Punk is a punk ass bitch to him. Excuse the language, by the way. Roman then says this is a backup plan ends. Basically, CM Punk is a backup plan as a world champion, and this ends. Roman then says, when I win, I'm going to put you on a retirement tour just like John Cena. Roman then says, we are going to send you down to NXT to teach the next generation to do what they have to do. Roman then says he will smash each and every one of them. Punk then tells Roman, doesn't get to walk away, because after he says that, he's going to basically beat up everybody. Roman tries to walk away. He grabs his arm. He turns him back around and says, you don't get to walk away from me. Punk then says, you are going to listen to what he has to say. Punk then says, we have to go through this shit you said. Punk then asks Roman about we. Punk then says, where is we at? Where are your Samoan goblins? Punk then says, you are alone. Punk then says, your cousins aren't here. He says, you don't have a wise man. Punk then says, you are alone on your bus. Punk then says, you have been chasing him. Punk then says, you are in the main event WrestleMania because he is the main event. Punk then says, this is his show and he runs things here. Punk then says, you can do things when you are by yourself. Punk then says, you can hate me, but I won't let you disrespect me. Punk then says you are going to retire him. Punk then says you made the list. Punk then says you have gone from beating you at WrestleMania to burying you. Punk then says you won't be alone. Punk then says he will bury Roman next to his father. CM Punk drops the microphone after that. He leaves the ring and holds up his index finger while acknowledging Roman Reigns. The executive producer credits go off. They are shown while Punk's entrance theme plays, and the show comes to a close, and Roman Reigns looks furious after he says, I'm going to bury you next to your father. Now, again, I try my best to read through this entire promo. It's not going to hit the same as if the two guys are in the ring, but I did my best to give you guys a synopsis of what happened. This was a great promo. A lot of people saying that Roman Reigns got the best of CM Punk again, but that I'm going to bury you next to your father line really set the tone that this is going to get even more personal. And I hope they open the floodgates of, CM Punk stepping away. Like, I know he did it last time, but I hope they really get into more of CM Punk not being there, but CM Punk saying, if it wasn't for me leaving, you wouldn't be on top of the company, and the whole WrestleMania thing, you're supposed to face Goldberg, and you left because of the pandemic. I hope they go into all of that stuff. We have damn near a whole entire month and a couple weeks, basically 5 to 6, 7 weeks for WrestleMania to come up, so hopefully they really get into it. I think Roman's going to miss only one Raw or Monday Night Raw up until WrestleMania. I hope they continuously do more. They're going to have to promo their way there a lot. I don't think the company wants them touching each other yet, basically getting physical. The same thing with Undertaker and Kane when those guys were basically going back and forth. When Kane first came and Undertaker, Kane, he would hit the Undertaker, but Undertaker never hit him back until he burnt the parents' grave, and then now he had to fight his brother. Then they finally got to be able to get in the ring at WrestleMania. I think they're trying to hold off on these guys getting physical with each other until WrestleMania. I think that's a smart idea for right now. Even if it's personal, in real life, you punch somebody in the face and say something about your dead parent. But because in wrestling, they're not going to let each other basically hit each other until then, which I don't know if that's a great thing, a good thing. I don't know what it is, but let's just ride this out. Again, this is a good ending to the show. I like how it got personal between both of these guys. And now we're building this match for night 2 at WrestleMania. Again, this show from the beginning, angle of it was great. And the ending was great. The entire show within the middle, I basically picked everything apart because of the booking and the creative behind it. You messing up stories with Dominic Mysterio. You're just doing a whole bunch of stuff that did not need to be done on this show. That's why I'm complaining about the booking. So let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about Monday Night Raw tonight. Did you think the show was great? It was okay? It was mediocre? Let me know how you guys felt about the show. Let me know how you guys feel about my review. Was I being a little bit too harsh? Let me know in the comment section down below. This is an open space for everybody to come in, wrestling fans who think alike or might think differently than I do. But comment down below and engage in the conversation. Please don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tune into the channel for more good content headed your way. Share with your friends and family so you can help the channel continue to grow. I appreciate you guys for watching. See you all next time.